morning. My name is Jim Ritchie. I'm the District Superintendent of the British Isles North District. Our territory, come on, there we go. Our territory is the north of England, Northern Ireland, and the country of Scotland, which I live in, and also lead the Nazarene Church in the city of Perth. The United Kingdom has an incredible Christian heritage. We were a Christian nation. My own country was called Bible-loving Scotland, but that is no longer the case. We live in a very secular country. We live in a place where the church is losing confidence in the gospel. The church is on the margins and in many ways on the back foot. The church in our nation is declining and declining rapidly. But we believe in a God who keeps his promises, amen? And Jesus said, I will build my church. So we are taking Jesus at his word, and we are stepping out with the Spirit's power, and we are planting new churches in our culture. In your culture, you may plant 2 churches this afternoon. But in the United Kingdom, to plant 2 churches in 1 year is a major achievement. And I'd like to tell you about 2 churches we planted in this past year. The first of those was in the city of Glasgow. Glasgow is our biggest city, and in the east end of Glasgow, a socially deprived, needy area of the city, our Parkhead Church of the Nazarene is growing, and they, along with some support from the district, have planted a church called the Charter in a place called Toll Cross. It's called the Charter because the Charter was once the most notorious bar in that area of Glasgow. But our church bought the pub, and we've turned the pub into a church, which is a reversal of what's happening in our nations. We have thousands of old buildings that are now empty. They used to be there for the glory of God, but they're now closed, and they've been turned mostly into pubs. So the Nazarenes are reversing the trend. And there is a deep heritage of prayer that I only heard about yesterday, which has been at the heart of this new church. For a number of years, decades ago, women prayed over that area where the pub was in and said, God, would you please come and do something here? And now he's done it. And the Nazarene Church exists in that pub. In the city of Dundee, we have planted a church called Mosaic. And again, we have been very creative. We opened a coffee shop called Blend. It's the 3rd one in Scotland. But this one was particularly with the mission to plant a church in that city through the coffee shop ministry. So my own church in Perth, the district, and Blend coffee shops got together, and we have planted a new church. The church is growing so fast that we now have to get extra space from another neighboring church to help on a Sunday evening with all the new families who are coming into that fellowship. The church in Dundee used to exist decades ago. It closed. And now we've reopened a new church in that city in a new way. You see, God is uncapping the wells, and he's allowing the floods of revival to return. I speak with denominational leaders from across my nation, and they all have the same sense that our church is on the back foot. We are on the decline. That is the story. That is the narrative. That's what we work with. I happen to believe another narrative. It says, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And so I believe that revival and renewal in the nations of Great Britain is not just a possibility. I believe it's an inevitability. And we are sowing and preparing for that inevitability. We raised up a new leadership development program called Priority 1. And in the last 2 years, we have trained 25 young people in leadership for the future of our churches and our nation. We've partnered with the Nazarene Theological College in Manchester and with the Forge Church Planting Group to prepare people to be ready to plant new churches. We ask for your prayers. We have a historic nation that was once a sending nation. If you want to be sent by God to come to the United Kingdom and help us, like years ago we came and helped you, come on over. Because we believe that God is not done with our nations. And we've asked him, and we've prayed to him, and we've cried out to him, God, come and visit again. And I believe that he's good and he will. Amen.